I'm Kirby Corkill with Jarvis Lighting. I'm here in Wheaton, Illinois at St. Francis Academy. The lighting was just upgraded in this gymnasium, and we're here today to program the network lighting control system brought to you by JarvisLink. The first thing I'm going to do is go to platform.jarvislink.com. I already have an account set up. I'm going to record my screen as we do this. So I already have an account set up, and I'm going to go to the lower right, create a new project. I'm going to add the time zone. It's not critical for this one because we don't have any scheduling, but I'll add that anyways. So I'm going to click into the project. First thing I'm going to do is create an area. And we'll call it Gym. And there's just one area. This is going to be a really simple commissioning. It's really just two zones. There's the north half of the gym and the south half of the gym. And as you can see, this gym has got a divider in the middle of it. So we're just going to do it where it's just motion sensors with a couple of kinetic switches as an option. And it's just north half of the gym, south half of the gym. So I'm going to create two zones, and we'll call it north half gym. The profile, it's a gym, but actually they've asked for the same as a standard warehouse profile, which is just motion sensors. Lights are off when nobody's around. They turn on for 20 minutes at full brightness upon detecting anybody. And then they'll actually dim for a little bit after 20 minutes of nobody being detected, and then they turn off. So it's just a simple motion sensor, and the entire zone operates the same way. So regardless if somebody comes into the zone from the outside door, the inside door, anything like that, it's going to have the entire zone come up. And then after people leave, after a certain amount of time, it'll stay full brightness, then dim, then turn off. So they're not going to use the light switches or anything as part of the standard daily operation. It's just going to be a very simple motion sensor system. So I'm going to create that half, that zone. I'm going to create the other half, gym south half, set it to the same profile. And I'm not going to make too many changes here, but you can also change the profiles just a little bit if you want. So they've asked for 20 minutes of the lights being on, and they actually asked for a 1 minute 50% brightness level to time out. So I'm changing that. As a deeper dive, when the lights detect any occupancy, they take 1 second to fade up. This way it's not a bang, it's a 1 second fade up, and they're going to fade up to 100%. And they will stay at that for 20 minutes after no longer detecting occupancy. If people are moving around still, it will continually reset that 20 minutes. So 20 minutes after occupancy ends, then it moves to this, what they call the prolonged. It's going to take 10 seconds to fade down to 50%. And it will stay at 50% for, in this instance, 1 minute. Then, if it still doesn't detect any occupancy, it will take another 10 seconds and fade to off. And then it will stay off until it detects occupancy again. So in the normal use of this system, nobody touches the switches. They come in the morning, lights turn on. Let's say they leave for lunch. They don't do anything. The lights will turn off after 21 minutes. And then when they come back after lunch, the lights will turn on again. The low-end, high-end trim, this is, it's not really going to be affected except when we have it in manual mode with the kinetic switches. I'll explain that in a little bit. But the lights will go up to 100% brightness. You can limit them so they're not as bright if you wanted to. And then the lowest they'll go is 20%, and anything below 20%, then they turn off. The power up behavior, if there's a power outage, we're going to go with a defined light level of 100%. And that way, if there's a power outage and the power comes back at 2 in the morning, we'd rather the lights come on to 100%. This manual override timeout, they've requested that the lights actually stay on for a long time. They do some things where maybe they want the lights at a different level, or if they're running a movie in the gym, they want to turn the lights off. The manual override timeout, basically, it allows the lights to ignore the motion sensors and follow the kinetic switch. It will follow the kinetic switch for 4 hours, and then go back into the automatic mode and follow the motion sensors. So if they turn it on, the lights will stay on for 4 hours no matter what. They turn it off, the lights will stay off for 4 hours no matter what. No matter what, even if people are moving around. And then if they turn it on and then they want it to dim it a little bit, they can hold the down button and then it will dim to a certain level. They let go, it'll stay at that level for 4 hours. And then after 4 hours, it will go back to the automatic mode following the sensors. So we've set up this profile and we're gonna hit save. And we could also rename it. I'm gonna leave it at the same name, because this is a very simple project with just 2 zones all doing the same thing. We could add a aerial photo of the gym if we had lots of zones. We might add that later, but this one's pretty simple. There's no scheduling. There's really, it's just following the motion sensors with 2 kinetic switches, 1 per zone added. So it's really simple, so I'm gonna leave it as is. At this point, we are done on the computer and we are ready to pull out the iPad and start commissioning the lights. All right, we are ready to start programming these lights. I'm gonna open up the JarvisLink app. I'm connected to the internet, logged in already. Click into the project. And the first thing I'm gonna do, click into the area. And I'm on the north half of the gym right now. I'm gonna click into the zone. And as you can see, there's no devices in the zone right now. I'm gonna click on the add arrow in the lower right corner, and tons of lights that are unassigned to a zone will pull up. It's actually everyone in the room because it's a fresh project. So what I'm gonna do first to make it a little easier, I'm gonna adjust the range a little bit lower so it picks up lights that are a little closer to me. From there, what I can do is I can click this flash icon next to the light, and I'm going to look up. I see a light flashing. It is in the zone, so I'm gonna hit add. And the app is then pushing the programming to that light. While that's happening, I can go to the next one. And I'm gonna look up, identify a flashing light. That one's not in the zone, so I'm gonna hit cancel. And I'm gonna do this for the entire gymnasium, continuing to hit the flash button to identify a light, confirm it's in the zone, and then add it if it's in the zone. Okay, so this one is not in the zone, but you can go add this device to a different zone, and then you can select which zone to add it into. Okay, one thing I like to do just to see how I'm progressing, I'll go into the test mode, and when that pulls up, I will turn off all the lights in the zone, and I can do 2 things. One, I can see what I've got left to program in this zone, because anything still on is not assigned to the zone. And 2, I can check the other zone to make sure that everything stayed on, just to make sure I didn't accidentally grab anything. So everything in the other zone is staying on, and you can see I'm probably almost 2/3 done with this zone. And I can leave them off as I continue to program, or I can turn them back on. But I'm gonna keep adding to this zone. Right now, we're most of the way commissioned, not 100%. I wanna show you when I click into either of the zones, any of the lights that are in that zone, they're no longer available. So when you click into the north half gym, any lights that have been added to this zone, they show up as a device in the zone. And if you go to add, these ones are not able to add to a zone because they're already assigned. If we go into test mode, you can manually control the lights. And just for kicks, we can turn them off. And as you can see, every light in this zone turned off, which makes sense because we have 100% of the lights commissioned in this zone. All right, so I'm going to turn them back into either on or automatic. Automatic, they'll follow their programming. All right, and if we go to the south zone, click into it, you can see we've got 28 lights. We'll go to test. We're going to turn them off, and as you can see, all 28 have turned off, so we know they're all assigned into that zone. I'm going to go back to auto. All right, and then I always like to triple check. I know for a fact I've got 28 lights on one side, 28 on the other, so I know I'm done. But we'll go into a zone and try to add more lights and see if anything shows up as available. Nothing's showing up as available. When I tested each zone, turned all of them off and all of them on, I know each zone is complete. So I'm done adding everything to the zone. Okay, so this is a kinetic switch. And we haven't set it up yet. It clicks like a normal switch, feels like a normal switch. The power from it actually comes from the friction of the clicking. So there's no batteries, no wiring, there's nothing like that. When you click it, there's a little bit of power generated, which is just enough to generate the signal to communicate to the zone to turn on or off. It has a cover. You can actually mount it inside a box like a traditional switch, but there's nothing, there's no wiring or anything. It's purely kinetic energy. To add a kinetic switch, I'm going to click into the zone, and then I'm going to click into one of the devices. And I'm going to try to find a device that's pretty close to the switch, just to give it the best chance of having perfect reliability. The switch's range is pretty long, so it's not a big deal, but if you're in a massive facility where you have a zone that's huge, or if there's a lot of stuff in the ceiling like HVAC, you just want to add the kinetic switch to whichever light is pretty close to the switch. So I know this one, it's about 20 feet farther than the closest, but we'll go with it. So I'm going to click into it, and I'm going to go to this tab that says N-Ocean. Whoop. And I'm going to do that. All right, and now it is connecting this switch to that light and to the zone. The kinetic switch is super easy, works like a normal switch. Turn it on, click it up. Turn it off, click it down. And then if you want something in between, the dimming function is just click and hold and let go when you're happy at the level. And that works up or down. So it's easy peasy. You can mount the switch anywhere, and it really takes any guesswork out. It's just a regular switch controlling the zone. And that's it. The lighting now has network lighting controls installed on it. Everything's programmed. It was pretty easy to do. And now the system will run on motion sensors. It's got manual control in case they have special events. And it's just going to be a nice energy efficient system that's also really easy to use.